History is filled with triumphs and tragedies, moments that shaped nations and changed lives forever. But some events are so devastating, so overwhelming in their cruelty, that they echo through generations. The Armenian Genocide is one of those moments. It's a story many don't know and some still refuse to acknowledge. But tonight, you will hear it. Not as a political debate, not as a distant fact in a history book, but as a human story, one of suffering, silence, and strength. A story of people who were torn from their homes, families destroyed, cultures erased, and memories buried under sand and denial. This is the story of the Armenian people in 1915, of how an empire turned on its own citizens, and of how survivors carried the weight of memory when the world turned away. Stay with me as we uncover the truth, because remembering the past is how we protect the future. At the turn of the 20th century, the Ottoman Empire was collapsing under its own weight. Long referred to as the sick man of Europe, the empire was losing territories and control. Nationalist movements surged, and political unrest grew louder. In this chaotic environment, the empire's rulers began searching for enemies within. They turned their focus to the Armenians, a Christian minority that had lived within the empire's borders for centuries. Tensions between Armenians and the Ottoman state had been simmering. Armenians had long faced discrimination and were often treated as second-class citizens under Islamic law. But during World War I, the Ottoman government accused the Armenian population of collaborating with the Russian enemy. What followed was not a crackdown, it was extermination. On April 24, 1915, Ottoman authorities arrested and executed hundreds of Armenian intellectuals and community leaders in Constantinople. This date is now widely recognized as the beginning of the Armenian Genocide. Over the next several years, an estimated 1.5 million Armenians were killed through mass executions, forced death marches, starvation, and brutal conditions in concentration camps. Men were taken from their villages, lined up, and shot. Women and children were forced to walk hundreds of miles through the desert, denied food and water, beaten and assaulted. Many never made it to their destination. Those who did were often sent to labor camps or left to die in the harsh Syrian desert. Eyewitnesses from foreign diplomats, missionaries, and journalists described the horror in detail. Bodies piled along roads, children dying in their mothers' arms, entire towns wiped from the map. This was not chaos, it was organized. Carried out by the young Turk government under the Committee of Union and Progress, the genocide was a systematic plan to remove Armenians from the empire entirely. Deportation orders, confiscation of property, destruction of churches, schools, and cultural landmarks. The goal was not just to kill people, it was to erase a people. One chilling quote from Ottoman Interior Minister Talat Pasha, one of the chief architects of the genocide, makes it clear. The Armenian question no longer exists. But history disagrees. Ambassador Henry Morgenthau Sr., the US ambassador to the Ottoman Empire at the time, wrote in his memoir, "I am confident that the whole history of the human race contains no such horrible episode as this." Yet, after the war ended and the Ottoman Empire fell, little justice was served. A few leaders were convicted in absentia, but most went unpunished. The modern Republic of Turkey, founded in 1923, distanced itself from the crimes, but never officially acknowledged them as genocide. To this day, Turkey denies that a genocide took place, calling the deaths part of a civil war, a result of wartime chaos, or accusing Armenians of rebellion. But the facts are clear. The United Nations Convention on Genocide, adopted in 1948, would later define genocide in terms that clearly describe what happened to the Armenians. Numerous scholars, historians, and over 30 countries have formally recognized the events as genocide. In 2019, the US House of Representatives and Senate passed resolutions acknowledging the Armenian Genocide, followed by a formal statement from President Joe Biden in 2021. But recognition comes late. and for many, never truly heals the wounds. The survivors, the ones who walked the deserts, escaped through mountains, or were rescued by foreign missionaries, never forgot. They passed the stories on to their children and grandchildren. Photos, letters, recipes, and prayers became sacred memories of a life that once was. And despite the trauma the Armenian people endured, in places like Lebanon, Syria, France, Canada, and the United States, Armenian communities rebuilt. They opened schools, churches, and cultural centers. They created music and art. They told their stories. Because forgetting is what genocide aims for, and remembering is how a people fight back. They passed down recipes that tasted like home. They stitched heirloom embroidery with trembling hands. They wrote down the names of villages that no longer exist, so their children would never forget where they came from. In classrooms and concert halls, in prayer services and protests, they kept the memory alive, not as a burden, but as a duty. Today, Armenian culture thrives across the world, a living testament to resilience. Their survival is not just physical, it is spiritual, intellectual, and cultural. The legacy of the Armenian Genocide is more than a tragic past. It's a warning, a template of how dehumanization leads to destruction, a pattern we've seen again in the Holocaust, Rwanda, Bosnia, Darfur, and beyond. In fact, Adolf Hitler reportedly used the world's silence on the Armenian Genocide to justify his own plans. Who, after all, speaks today of the annihilation of the Armenians? He asked. That chilling question shows why remembrance matters. We forget, we allow the same patterns to repeat. But if we remember, if we speak, teach, and honor those who were lost, then we build a world where such crimes become impossible to ignore. The Armenian Genocide is not just a story of death. It is a story of survival. It is a story of mothers who carried their children across deserts, of fathers who hid their sons in haystacks, of orphans who lived to tell the tale, of a people who refused to be erased. Today, more than 100 years later, the wounds still ache, but the voices grow louder. From solemn memorials in Yerevan to documentaries, books, and songs, the Armenian people continue to speak. And the world is finally beginning to listen. If this is the first time you're hearing about the Armenian Genocide, you are not alone, but you now carry a part of this story with you. So share it. Speak it. Honor it. Because genocide thrives on silence, and truth begins with remembering. To the 1.5 million souls lost, we remember you. To the survivors and their descendants, we see you. And to the future, may it never again be blinded by denial nor silence in the face of evil. Thank you for listening.